These are some of my favorite videos to watch, and I'm really enjoying making them, so let's jump into it. First up, we'll start with my favorite purchase for the month, which was getting my hair done. I've been growing out a bob for over a year now, and I'm wanting my hair to get back to, being longer, and I've been feeling so blah about the whole thing. I decided that I was gonna do a little bit of bleach. Now, before I started this YouTube channel, I had gone platinum blonde. It was very expensive, very damaging, very high maintenance, and it never looked exactly how I wanted it to look. So I got it filled and then dyed it red, because if you go from platinum back to brown, they have to do it in 2 steps. First they go red to fill the blonde, and then they color it brown again. And if you don't do that, I think your hair turns kind of like orange. Fact check me on that, because my color theory isn't great. But instead of dyeing it 2 times in one day, I was like, let's dye it red and let that fade out, and then I'll come back and we can go brown from there. So I was platinum, and then I had it red for a while, and then I went to a brown that was really close to my natural color, and for probably about almost 2 years, it's just been growing out my natural brown. So when I started this channel, it was that brown color, my natural brown. And I've just been kind of playing around with getting it cut instead of messing with the color. But because I've been feeling so blah, I wanted to do something fun. So I didn't want to commit to bleaching everything again, and I knew I wanted to stay away from any cool tone blonde. So we did this fun kind of honey color blonde, just in one streak on both sides. We left the bangs out of it because they grow really fast and I like to keep them very short. This is what we're rocking with. I think it's gonna be fun and low maintenance, and depending on how I do my hair, it's like you can't even see it at all, so it's kind of a fun little surprise based on how I feel like styling my hair. Because we live in the woods on a well, our water is really hard, and the minerals in the water can make your hair go brassy, and I'm kind of curious to see if this starts going orangey, and if I kind of like it like that. Because it's not my whole head, it's just these little streaks. I'm just curious to see how this plays out. So my favorite purchase for the month of March is investing in myself and doing something a little creative with my hair. Let's move on to my favorite action for the month. So if you've watched my channel before, you know that each month I donate the AdSense revenue that I make on this channel to an organization called Artist Trust, which gives grants to artists across the state of Washington. Now, February, I didn't hit the minimum payment amount on AdSense for 2 reasons. One, I didn't post as many videos as I was hoping to, and 2, February was a short month. So we did not get an AdSense payment in March because we didn't hit the minimum organization. I decided to donate $300 to an organization called Inspire Washington, and they are an organization structured to advocate for arts, sciences, and heritage organizations. Their advocacy work is usually getting legislation passed to help with those sectors, arts, heritage, and sciences. The reason that I wanted to donate $300 to them in March is because they took a trip to Washington, D.C. They brought, I believe, 5 people from different organizations across the state to go advocate at the federal level instead of just the state level. They were there for, I think, close to a week, and they met with all of the Washington reps at the federal level and let them know why it's so important to keep supporting the arts, heritage, and science sectors. And I know it's not cheap to send people to travel. I also know that it's not easy for these people who went to leave the organizations that they lead for a big chunk of time to go advocate at a higher level, but it's so important. And I just wanted to say thank you to them for doing that, for taking the time and advocating on behalf of everyone in the state who can't make a trip like that to advocate. That was my favorite action. It felt good to contribute to something that I couldn't do on my own, you know what I mean? So I'm really happy that organizations like Inspire Washington exist, because that's their whole job. I'm really proud of them for doing that job when it feels difficult. Attention is being pulled in so many directions, and I just don't want the arts to fall to the wayside. So thank you to them, and that was my favorite action for the month of March. Let's go on to my favorite movie that I watched in March. I finally watched Blink Twice. Blink Twice. Blink Twice. And I loved it. I won't go too far into it because I don't want to give any spoilers in case you're interested in seeing it, but it is about a woman and her friend who get invited to like a tech billionaire's private island, and everyone's partying, having a great time, but something's a little off, and I think I'll just leave it there. I thought that the movie was incredibly well made. The actors were top tier, and I think it was produced by Zoe Kravitz, and I hope to see more movies that she's producing, because both the movies that she acts in and that she's producing, I feel, are very aligned with my taste. So I'm excited to follow her because I want to see what other work she gets involved with. And I think that's a pro tip. If you find someone where you've seen their name on like 2 or 3 movies that you really like, go check out everything else that they've been a part of, either on the acting side, producing side, directing side, whatever it may be. On their IMDb, just see everything they've done, because chances are if you've really enjoyed 2 or 3 projects, that they've kind of like found their niche, and you can find more things to enjoy. So, Blink, 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 Blink Twice was my favorite movie from the month of March. perfectly captures that feeling of being a little bit too messed up at a house party where you're on the border of it not being fun anymore, but you have to just kind of ride it out. I feel like the music video is so good. And, once I had watched the video, I started listening to it while I was driving. And I feel like it's got a whole different energy without the music video. It's more like it got me hyped up. So I've been using that as like my pump up jam throughout the month. The other song is Cupid's Girl. Cupid's Girl, Cupid's Girl by Marina, formerly of Marina and the Diamonds, former Tumblr girl inspo. I don't know if the album was called How to Be a Heartbreaker, but whatever album that song was on, with like Teen Idol, she's put out 2 songs now, and I think this next album is gonna be one of my favorites of the summer. Okay, I looked it up. It was Electra Heart was the name of that album. I love that album, and I feel like her new music, the 2 new songs that she just released, sound very similar to Electra Heart, but not like a direct copy. So it's fresh and new and exciting, but it has that nostalgia that's bringing me back to Electra Heart. And I'm so excited to listen to this album this summer. Can't wait. So, Cupid's Girl was my other favorite song from March. Cupid's Girl and I Only Smoke When I Drink. Next up is going to be a favorite show for the month. And I don't typically get into new TV series. I'm much more of a movies girl than a series girl. I'll do a limited series. I love a good limited series, like 3 episodes. Love that. But I rarely feel like I want to get invested in an actual series. Mostly because I just always am in the process of rewatching Supernatural. That is my comfort show. And if I'm looking for a short episodic episode, I'm gonna pick Supernatural, 9 times out of 10. But for whatever reason, I decided to start The Pitt, which is about ER doctors in Pittsburgh. But what I think is so fascinating about the show is that the entire season of the show is one single day in the emergency room at this hospital. So the pilot, episode 1, is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Episode 2, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Episode 3, 9 to 10. And something about that is so intriguing to me, because whatever story you're gonna tell, you have to tell it in a finite amount of time, in one single day. The arc for one episode, one single hour. My husband even started watching this one with me, and we have very different taste in TV. So the fact that we both have been getting into this show is kind of cool, because we're watching it together. But it just really gives me so much additional appreciation for doctors, nurses, security guards, janitorial staff, admin staff, every single person that works at a hospital and makes it work. Love, sending you pure love. I'm so grateful to the helpers in the world, and to be a doctor is a job that I could never do because I'm terrible under pressure. I'm not good at being stressed out, and these heroes just do it Lebowski, I was like, yeah, cool, okay. Next. But something about it, man, it just sits in your brain in a weird way. And I saw someone say once that The Big Lebowski is never your favorite movie the first time you watch it, but you grow to love it over time. And that's absolutely been the case for me. We probably watch it at least once a year, but if it's in theaters, it's so fun because the crowd that comes out to watch The Big Lebowski when it's screening somewhere, it's just a lovely group of people, and it's so fun to watch a movie like that with a group to hear where other people laugh versus where you laugh. And sometimes you even notice a joke that maybe you missed previous times that you've watched it because of how the crowd reacts. So that was my favorite event for the month of March. It was a good time, and I'm glad that I got to go see it in the theater this year. And that brings us to our final category, which is favorite food for the month of March. And this one was easy because my mother-in-law made homemade Rice Krispie treats. I think I ate half the container within the first 2 days, so clearly I was enjoying them. A little Rice Krispie treat with a cup of coffee for breakfast, a Rice Krispie treat after dinner for dessert, one with lunch, just a little pick-me-up in the middle of the day. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My mother-in-law for Christmas signed us up for the Dessert of the Month Club, which is just made up because she will make us a dessert each month that we pick. And it's just such a fun idea because she loves baking and we love eating desserts. So it's a really sweet gift to give, to just make dessert for us once a month. Plus then we get to see her, we get to visit when we go pick up the dessert for the month. So it's been a nice way to stay connected. Even when life gets busy, we'll make time to go pick up something that she made for us. I just thought I'd mention that because it's a really good idea if you're looking for a gift to get someone and you're not sure, or you don't necessarily want to spend a bunch of money up front, but you can, buy ingredients as needed each month to make a homemade dessert for them. I thought that was just a really cool gift idea, and I've been enjoying it immensely. So Rice Krispie treats made from scratch is my favorite food for the month of March. That is my favorites video. Before I go, I'm gonna mention this. I am starting 75 hard tomorrow. Why? I don't know. I'm feeling so overwhelmed with everything that I want to be purposely overwhelmed, if that makes sense. But I'm mentioning this because I'm going to try my hardest to stick to my normal filming and posting schedule of one video a week. But I really do want to try and finish this challenge if I have to, make time to do something related to the challenge and I don't get around to filming or posting.